up to date is a bit of a strain at times. Well, but that's the penalty of being the only one in the company who can write. Now, what'll I say? July 69. Dear Mum, here am I, 1,700 miles from home, and the sun is beating down. Home, of course, is St. Mark's Church, Inverness, HQ of the Super 6th. To celebrate the company's Diamond Jubilee, we were going camping in North Italy. We got a good send-off from Provost W.A. Smith, 42 of us, with a motley collection of tent poles, baggage, boiled sweets, spare drumskins, and a plentiful supply of sick bags. Our captain, Ian Beaton, took charge of a gift for the people of Barga from the Provost. Exactly on the appointed hour, well, almost exactly, we rolled off on the first leg of our 4-day journey. Down through the Highlands to Edinburgh, where we took aboard Brem MacLeod, our driver for the rest of the trip. Next stop, Dover. The salt breeze on the cross-channel ferry blew away any cobwebs we might have collected on the bus. The holiday spirit was much in evidence. Life was never like this on the island too. For hours the boat, and we passed the 100 or so minutes of the crossing, taking photographs of this and that, or just sitting. The French coast soon hove in sight, and we crowded the rail, eager for a first glimpse of foreign soil. Back into the bus again, and up the ramp overlooking Boulogne Harbour. At the top we were waved on our way by a real live French gendarme. Our route took us north of Paris, and then down towards Switzerland and the Mont Blanc tunnel. We whiled the long journey away playing guessing games, singing songs of dubious propriety, annoying our neighbours, drinking gallons of orange juice, on occasion experimenting with even more sinister draughts. Others were content to admire the scenery or just doze. One person always on duty was the camp M.O., John MacDonald. We weren't at all sorry when we arrived 2 days later at the campsite near Via Reggio. Tent poles, ground sheets, tins, bagpipes, all had to be dragged from the bus and carted to the site. Whew, talk about pack horses! Of course, went up with the unhurried determination and smooth efficiency that has always characterized the Super 6th. In spite of everything, the camp quickly took shape, and were all set for a leisurely week under canvas. With the actual camp well established, the first priority was to get the cookhouse operational. Then, once the kettle's boiling, blow the whistle and stand back. Of course, life isn't that. Now that the multitude's been fed, a chance to pen some more deathless prose. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Swinging trade. The way to the beach was down to the far end of the camp, past the ablutions, through the wood, and across a strip of burning scrub and sand. By the time we'd sung 27 choruses of There's a Long, Long Trail a-Winding, we'd reached the sea. Once there, the long hike seemed suddenly worthwhile. Come on in, the water's fine. Not you, Moore, sit down. The Mediterranean sun. Most folks rely on a good coat of suntan oil for protection, but that's not good enough for Ross Brindle. That's me, the handsome one in the middle. Having a ball. Except Ross, of course, who's always preferred to take things lying down. Now, isn't that just like him? Next day, the great international soccer match, Italy versus Scotland. A crowd of lads in the camp had challenged us to a game. National pride being strong, we just had to agree. Right away, they piled on the pressure. Phlegmatic, eh? The second half saw the tide beginning to turn, and it was obvious that the Prince team was going to win. In spite of the brave efforts of the Italian goalie, he stood all of 148 centimetres, that's Italian for 4'10" in his football boots. In spite of his spectacular saves, the skill and determination of our Scottish forwards began to tell. We ran all over them. When the final whistle blew, we were ahead 4-1 or 5-1 or something. We won anyway, and that was the main thing. And the match ended amicably with an exchange of pennants. The following afternoon we visited, what's the name? Pisa. It's true what they say about the tower too. Below it was a street market, fair game for our gang of Arabs bent on souvenir hunting. Florence, home of the arts, was a different proposition. Scuttling from under the shade of the magnificent cathedral like a plague of locusts, we infiltrated the market, ready to do battle with the stallholders for the last lira. How's that for a complicated metaphor? Alas, we found the place overrun with Yankee tourists, rending the air with their southern twang and pouring out $10 bills and traveller's checks like a hideous green blight on our hopes of bargains. Highlight of our trip was the visit to Barga, high in Tuscany's marble mountains. To greet us at Il Fosso di Barga was Cavaliere Pietro Morone. He and Willie Godsman were pals of 10 years back when the company visited Barga for its Jubilee celebrations. First rendezvous, we marched into the shadow of the old city wall and up through the gate. It made me proud to be Scots, to hear the sound of the pipes dinging back off the high shuttered walls around us. Several of Barga's citizens stay in Inverness, and it was one of these, Lorenzo Serafini, who arranged this reception for us. People crowded into the narrow streets and tiny squares to hear the pagan sound of the pipes. It must have been the Glasgow Fair, though, judging by the number of Scots accents we heard. In front of the town hall, we lined up for inspection by Cavaliere Felice Menichini, the mayor of Barga. As he and Ian Beaton exchanged courtesies, we stood and quietly stewed in the morning sun. Introductions over, the mayor invited us to the town house. Inside the cool, dark room, Cavaliere Menichini bade us a formal but very warm welcome. Ambassadors for Scotland, he called us. And he hoped that we would go back home and be ambassadors for Barga. To seal the pledge, he handed over a bronze plaque with the town's coat of arms to Ian Beaton and received a gift from the company in exchange. Then a toast was drunk. Then another. Numbed by the crunch and roar of tatty crisps being devoured, we settled quietly into a euphoric haze. Outside, the sun was beating down, hotter than ever. Taking advantage of a lull in the proceedings, we had a rest. I can't think what they put in these crisps. Il Duomo, the cathedral. Built in the 12th century, it's been the town's focal point through nearly 800 years of turbulent history. Its walls still bear scars from the last World War. It was all peaceful, though, as we strolled around, drinking in the heat of the sun, while the tireless Signor Moroni gave us the history of the town, translated by young Lucy Serafini. The distant rumble of thunder turned out to be merely our collective stomachs crying out for food. As the sun was well over the yard arm, it seemed just about the right time for a sumptuous repast, Italian style. I've heard of the haggis being piped in, but spaghetti? Glasses were raised to the health of Renzo Serafini, whose generosity gave us this first taste of real Italian cooking. Later, we enjoyed a siesta in the pleasant garden of Renzo's villa, while his mother recorded a message for her relations in Inverness. Signor Moroni acted as announcer and introduced Signor Barga, district chief of police, another good friend of Renzo's. In no time at all, twilight had gathered, together it seemed with most of the townsfolk. In the public gardens beneath the new bridge, an impromptu dance was underway. Then the pipes arrived. They say that travel broadens the mind, but after sitting for 8 solid days in the bus, I reckon it's not just the mind that's broadened. It was a long journey, 3,600 miles or so, and we'd seen something of other countries, made friends with other nationalities. Memories, like the hospitality at Barga, the stupefying heat of the afternoon sun, the salty warmth of the Mediterranean, the flashing smile of a certain signorina, the haggling in the marketplaces. But whatever we feel personally, it was certainly a camp to remember. And I hope that we left behind us a good impression of the Super 6th, that we were, in fact, ambassadors for Scotland.